Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. According to my surveys I had recently handed out to my community, 88% said that they would be upset if the United States government suddenly took away their ability to access the internet. I know I would be. I use the internet every single day. Now, in the United States, our Bill of Rights prevents something like this from ever happening, but we live in one of the most privileged countries in the world. Around the world, oppressive governments use censorship and downright blackouts of the internet to silence opposition and control the public's perceptions of current events. For example, according to USA Today, only 4% of North Korea's 24 million people population has access to the internet. The point being made here is not that these people need the internet for Facebook or video games, but that by restricting the internet access, these countries are taking away their citizens' ability to find uncensored news and information. I would go as far as to suggest that due to the wealth of knowledge and opinion that can be found there, access to the internet should be a basic human right. Today we will further define this problem and then look at some possible solutions. First, let's look at the problem in greater detail. Government often takes away citizens' access to the internet to silence opposition. Around the world, oppressive governments in countries like Syria, Cuba, and North Korea use the internet blackouts to pacify and silence their population, and others like China, Russia, and South Korea use the internet censorship to silence anti-government opinions, according to the Reporters Without Borders, who monitor the internet censorship worldwide. There are 12 countries on Reporters Without Borders' Enemy of the Internet list, as well as 14 others who are under suspect. Censorship prevents citizens from making informed decisions in regards to their government, particularly during elections, and help keep these citizens in the dark about corruption and oppression. In these oppressed, internetless countries, all forms of news or information that citizens would have access to would be heavily monitored and controlled by the government. While countries like Cuba, Iran, and North Korea may sound like usual suspects for this sort of thing, many first world countries are guilty of the internet censorship too, such as Australia, France, South Korea, and Russia. And if these things aren't close enough to home for you, a recent proposal by the FCC aims to censor the United States internet in another way, by selling search priority and higher internet speeds to large companies, ending net neutrality and limiting the number of hits given to a small website. So, hopefully now you see why having access to an unfiltered internet is sort of a big deal. Now let's look at some potential solutions. All of human beings should have the right to access the internet. The internet is primarily a database of the world's public information. In 2011, the UN threw in its hat and declared access to the internet a basic human right. While this is a step in the right direction, the UN isn't exactly known for taking action in these type of situations. And even though all of the offending countries are members of the UN, it is highly unlikely that they will ever get more than a scolding. As such, for severely oppressed countries, it is likely that the only way they will ever gain the basic right of the internet access is through revolution and the establishment of a oppressive government. For democratic countries suffering from the internet censorship, change can be found by petitioning representatives, supporting candidates who oppress it, and protesting it. In the United States, the FCC has opened a place on their website where they are accepting complaints about the proposed end of net neutrality, and if the proposal proves incredibly unpopular, there is a chance that they might discard this. So if you care, be sure to head to www.fcc.gov/comments and leave him a harshly worded letter. Comment period ends July 27th. So now that we are here, let's review, shall we? Several countries around the world completely disregard their citizens' rights when they choose to use the internet censorship and denial to keep them in the dark. The right to the internet access is and should be recognized as a basic human right. While this problem is most likely out of our control, I highly encourage you to visit www.fcc.gov/comments and really let them have it if you are interested in helping prevent the internet discrimination in the U.S. You want the truth? It's time we are allowed to handle the truth. Thank you for watching.